Hello dear students, today we are going to learn about adding and subtracting decimals. Before we start learning addition and subtraction of decimals, let's try to understand the structure of a decimal number. So a decimal number is generally made up of two parts. The first part is the whole portion where we have a whole number. It's towards the left of the decimal, and towards the right side of the decimal we have a decimal portion. Now, as usual, we have numbers like ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands, and so on in the whole number. In the same manner, to the right of the decimal, we have decimal figures. Their place values are said to be tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. So this is how a typical decimal number looks like. Now let's try to understand how do we perform addition. Again, let's first have an idea about a multi-digit whole number. To add whole numbers, what we do, students, we simply have to line up the ones digit from the end. So this is how we line up the numbers. We line up the same number which occur at the same place value. And the number which hasn't been occupied, the place that hasn't been occupied, you simply fill a 0. So this is how we can perform addition in column method. You simply have to add the numbers. You may have to regroup them if needed. So that's a simple idea. 8 plus 2 is 10. So 1 is carried over, and then we get 4. And this is how we perform simple addition of two whole numbers. Now let's try to understand how do we perform addition of decimal numbers. Again, we have the same process, but right now, rather than trying to align the ones digit, we first of all try to line up the decimal portion, means decimal point we try to align up first of all. So we just write the first number as it is. Let's look at the example. We have to add two decimal numbers. We have 1.452. The other number we have as 1.3. So first of all, you need to focus on the decimal. You need to line up the decimal one underneath the other, and then you need to write numbers in the same manner. Again, students, it's nothing but the same. It's ones digit in the first number. Again, it's a ones digit even in the second number. Similarly, it's a tenth digit in the first number and the tenth digit in the second number. So similar place value numbers are still lined up. And again, the numbers which are not filled, where you don't have digits, you can simply fill zeros so that our column is complete. Even if you don't fill the 0, it's still okay, and you can perform addition. So now we can just perform addition as usual. 2 plus 0 is 2, 5 plus 0 is 5, 4, 3, 7, and 1 is 2. So is it the right answer? No, dear students, it's still not complete. We have to put the decimal just underneath the decimal. Then we got the right answer, 2.752. Let's take one more example. We may even have more than two numbers. And one more thing, students, if a number doesn't have any decimal, we imagine that to be at the end of the number. Just like 5 doesn't have any decimal, so we can consider the decimal at the end of 5. So it can be considered as 5 and then 5.0, and as many zeros you want, you can apply based on the requirement. So first of all, you start writing the first number and make sure to line up the decimal of the second number. So we just written the decimal here. And now both the sides we have to write the numbers 0, 7, 5, and again 5 doesn't have any decimal, so we assumed it to be at the end. So we assume a decimal here, and after that we can write 5. Now we have to fill zeros at the places where we don't have any number. Yeah, and now we can perform addition as usual. So we just go to add them. It's 5, 5 plus 7 is 12. We have to regroup them. 1 get carried over. 1 plus 2 is 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. And the most important thing is the decimal. Just underneath the decimal, you have to apply it as it is. So this is the answer. Simple. Let's continue with subtraction. In subtraction also we have to follow the same rules. That first of all we write the first number as it is, and then after we need to line up the decimal of the second number. So this is how we line up the decimal, and then we rewrite the numbers which are given on both the side of the decimal. Of course, we have to fill a 0 where we don't have any digit. And this time we have to perform subtraction. So we can do that. 8 minus 0 is 8. 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 7 minus 1 is 6. And then decimal is kept at the same place. So this is your answer. Okay students, so in this question we were already given an expression and we had to simply subtract that. But sometimes we are given a statement in which we have to subtract something from some other number. Just like here it says subtract 2.37 from 5.9. It means that we need to take away 2.37 from 5.9. So that's where you have to be very careful. After the preposition from, whatever number is there, this is your main number. And you need to take away 2.37 from 5.9. So keep 5.9 up here, and just below that you need to write the next number, which is 2.37. So this is what you have to take away. 2.37 we have to take away from 5.9. So whatever we have to take away, we write it downwards. So no problem, again we can write decimal lined up, and then the remaining numbers can be copied as it is. And then after we can perform subtraction. And while performing subtraction, we may have to regroup the numbers. 0 isn't sufficient, so we can take one borrow. That gives tens kind of number, just like we do in the simple subtraction. So we just get, okay, we get 10. So 10 negative 7 is 3. Now we are left with 8 over here, as it already has given a det to the next number. So we just got 8 here. Now 8 minus 3 is 5, and then 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3.53 is the answer for this question. I hope it's clear to all of you students. Let's continue with a few more questions. You guys can pause the video and then try to solve and then check the answer, and definitely I'm going to solve it here. But if you want to practice together with me, you can pause the video and start solving the question. Okay, meanwhile I'm gonna do it. Same thing we need to follow. We need to line up the decimal, rewrite the numbers, aligning their place values. Also we have to fill vacant places with zeros, and then we can perform addition. That gives you 11 carry over 1. It's 4. 6, 1, so 16.412. So we can consider C option is correct. Let's move to the next question. Okay students, this time we have more than 2 numbers to add. You can still pause the video and start solving it if you want. I'm gonna do it here, and then you can verify your answers. Okay, it's 72.13. That's my first number. Now while writing the subsequent numbers, you have to line up the decimal. So accordingly, I will copy the numbers. Okay students, so we are done with numbers, and now we need to just write some zeros. We can now start adding them. 9 plus 2 is 11, 3, 14, carry over 1. And then we have 9 plus 3 is 12, carry over 1. And so on. So we get around 1003.5242. So option C seems to be correct. Yeah. Let's move to the next question. Okay, this time we have to perform subtraction. So based on this statement, we need to take away 4.902 from 103.8. So make sure to keep 103.8 first, and then after we can write down 4.902. Okay, so we can write it like this. And we have to fill the vacant places with zeros. So no problem, we can write them like this. And now we have to perform subtraction. Okay, it gives one borrow to that, so it becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. It became then 9, so it's 9 only. It became 7 while giving one borrow, so it became now 17 when it takes borrow. 17 negative 9 is just 8. And then it becomes 2, so 12 minus 4 as it again takes one borrow, so 3 becomes 2. And it already became 2, and now it takes one borrow, so it becomes 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. And then we have 9 here, and nothing is left because it also has given a borrow. So the answer is 98.898. So option A is correct. Let's take one more example, students. Here we have to perform subtraction again, and we need to take away 9.09 from this number. So we first of all rewrite the number, and then after we have to align the decimal. Okay, and yes, that's the same process that we have to follow. We subtract them then, 9, 0, now 10 because it gives you one borrow, so it becomes 10 minus 9 is 1, it became 8. We keep it as it is, we just line up the decimal here also. And here it gives one more borrow to that, it becomes 10 minus 9, that is 1. It becomes then 8 while giving one borrow. So it's going to be 81.8109. So the option B is correct. Sometimes we may come across a few word problems, students. So let's also take a look. It says Kua's family drank 0.5 liter of milk in the morning and 0.5 liter of milk in the afternoon. How many liters of milk did they drink altogether? So it's a very simple question of addition. We have to sum up the numbers. So that's simple. The first number is 0.4. The second number is 0.5. So again, you need to make sure to line up the decimal. And the numbers are pretty simple to add. We can add them. It becomes 0.9 liter of milk they drink altogether. Very simple question. Let's continue to the next example. Question says Kekuni has a 1.9 meter of ribbon and Ambai has a 3.5 meter of ribbon. Which ribbon is longer and by how many meters? So students, of course, it looks like this is just 1.9 meter. The second person has 3.5 meter long ribbon. So definitely the second person has the longer ribbon. Okay, second value is bigger. Now we need to figure out how much it's longer. So definitely while taking the difference, we have to subtract a smaller number from the bigger number. So it means that we need to keep the first number bigger, like bigger number we need to keep first, and a smaller number we have to keep later. So then we can perform subtraction in the same manner. And then, okay, this is the format that we have to follow. We get one borrow from 3, it becomes 15. 15 minus 9 is 6. It became 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So the difference is 1.6 meters. That's simple. Okay students, so I hope you must have understood how do we perform addition and subtraction with decimal numbers. See you in the next lesson.